Guys, we got Island Ninjas, we got Papal Ninjas, we've got all sorts of ninjas. We're talking about the season premiere and the LA qualifiers of American Ninja Warrior, so stick around because you're not going to want to miss it.
You're tuning into the destination for TV superfan discussion, AfterBuzz TV. And now, let the buzz begin.
There we go. You see, the way we go with the music choices here is we take one word, and for the entire season, we're just going to pick every single song that has that word in that title.
That's going to be a short playlist.
We're going to be hitting it real hard this season. So we're starting with MC Chris, one of my favorite artists. Fans of Aqua Teen Hunger Force might know him as MCP Pants. Who knows? If you don't know, now you know. Guys, this is the very first episode of the American Ninja After Show. American Ninja Warrior, rather, After Show right here on AfterBuzz TV. I'm excited to be here.
It's exciting!
It's super exciting. My name's Ty Matthews. Y'all can find me on Twitter, on Instagram, at Ty Matthews PMA, as well as various other after shows, most of them wrestling related, but we will get into that. I'm joined by two lovely and talented co-hosts.
I'm the first lovely and talented.
Know yet.
I don't know. I have no idea. Literally just met these men about an hour ago.
And he's already calling us lovely.
But they seem lovely. They seem like lovely gents to me. Guys, who are you and where can they find you?
Well, we won't wrestle over it. I'll just spit it out. I'm a ninja. I've never knew they had a ninja song.
Absolutely.
I'm Chris Howard. You can reach me at Chris Howard Live on Twitter and Instagram. You can also reach me at legendarylivingdaily.com and legendarylivingtv.com for my YouTube channel.
That's very intimidating, by the way. Like, legendary. I'm like, you can find me on Facebook.
It is kind of self-important.
Absolutely.
Yeah, legendary.
It's great.
I'm Alexander Rodriguez. You can find me on Twitter and Instagram at On The Rocks On Air. Also find out all about me at ontherocksradioshow.com.
There we go.
On the rocks.
Now, we have got a lot to get through tonight. Lot to unpack. What drew you guys, though, before we get into the episode
Spandex.
proper?
Wait, what?
I mean, you know what? I will say this. Most of the after shows I do are pro wrestling related. So it's a perfect fit. Literally. Boom, bam.
There is
That's
something-
why you're watching.
There's something very interesting happening on the sides of this
We're going to change lives here, people.
with spandex.
So what drew you guys to American Ninja Warrior? First impressions, all that sort of stuff.
You want to go?
Sure.
Go for it.
I love to watch other people do what I should be doing in life. Like, I love to just be like I should be working out and exercising and, like, living the dream with the sad piano music in the back. Like, I have one leg and a dog named Skip, like, and I was like, I can experience that and live through all these American ninjas without the effort.
There you go.
Boom!
There you go. Absolutely.
I love this. I sat down here, speaking of effort, I said, I really made an effort to understand my dear friend here as he came in and he's watching the show and he's like, you ever seen this before? He's like, this is so straight.
It is. It's very, yes.
Okay, but can I just say, I was like, I'm really worried that, that's going to be a really straight crowd and my gaiety might be too much. And then the first contestant's like, I'm the Red Power Ranger. I was like, oh, I'm good.
He's like, I'm right at home. Yeah. So what drew me in, I've been a martial artist all my life.
Okay.
I do Gracie Jiu-Jitsu these days, so I'm into wrestling
Are you
myself.
kidding?
And yeah.
That's amazing.
And so I've been into it from that perspective, but also I like the game show aspect of it.
Sure.
So it's a lot of fun. And so I started watching the show. I didn't know whether it was 6 seasons or 7 seasons. It was because I just liked it. That's all I knew.
There's a lot of history there that I didn't quite know about.
Right, you get the rich history behind each one, and so I was just drawn into it, thought it was cool, and tonight was spectacular. I really loved it.
Absolutely.
Yeah, good show.
I love that you think you know who's going to win, and then you are totally surprised. Like the big buff guys, you think, oh, they're going to win, and then they don't. Yeah. And that's what I like too.
You never know. Yeah, you never know who's going to make it to the end, who isn't. That wall will get you. Me personally, I have been a professional wrestler for 16 years
You're
now.
kidding me.
You guys, what am I doing here?
Do you know Eve Torres?
What's that?
Eve Torres?
I
Do you
know of her.
Okay, she married Henry Gracie, who's
Oh, exactly. There you go.
That's funny.
See, it all comes full circle, guys. Yes, yeah, I've been a pro wrestler for 16 years. I started on AfterBuzz on the Monday Night Raw AfterBuzz after show, and now I do Lucha Underground, American Grit, and all sorts of tangentially wrestling related shows.
Wow, Lucha Underground. That's now Lucha. Oh, but that means wrestling, right?
It does.
grappling. Yeah?
But Lucha Underground is a very, not to get off on too much of a tangent, but it's a very kind of like supernatural-esque kind of wrestling show.
Masks and stuff.
Yeah,
Oh,
it's
absolutely.
so dramatic.
I always
wanna wear a mask.
say it's a show about a wrestling show, not necessarily a wrestling show.
And it's a little softcore pornish a little bit too.
Sure.
Yeah,
You
it's
watch
like,
this too.
well, yeah, and I got to interview.
great.
I got to interview the lead actress from it. She's so sexy.
Carly.
God, yes.
She's been here. She's been in this
Love
exact
her.
studio.
God, we all know each other.
Look at that. Time's a
You
flat
guys are like
circle.
wrestlers. I'm like, you could kill people on the street. I'm like, I can fold a cocktail napkin faster than both of you. That's my
See?
that's my
You
contribution.
never know when you're gonna need those sort of skills.
Secret powers, superpowers.
But yeah, so I think my history with that kind of draws me to unorthodox athletics. As I like to call it, you know, people using their strength and their muscles for very, very kind of bizarre
Reasons, yeah.
ends. Yes. So wrestling, lucha libre, ninja warrior, it all. Don't you dare! Don't you dare!
Everything's a
got a
double entendre. Like
Everything.
everything is.
We're really getting off on a weird start at American Ninja Warrior. Even that, guys, bear with us. We've got a lot to get through. Let's get into it. Oh man.
I'm a ninja in spandex.
Wait, who's the gay one here?
That was you.
Legendary gay.
Speaking of wrestlers, just to get into it, even when we first start the episode, there's a former WWE pro wrestler named Zach Gowen that we'll see over the course of the season who has got one leg. You got to think like, what's that?
Okay, but here's my thing. Like, when you don't have legs and then you have to run, like, is it really harder? Because then you don't have leg cramps, you don't have calf cramps.
That's a good
like,
point.
shouldn't you have a different course, maybe?
I guess it's a good point.
I mean, I'm not trying to be rude to
That's
any
a
legless
stupid
people.
point.
No, but you don't tire your leg muscles, so hey. Hey, in a wheelchair, I'll wheel across America.
But to that point, he does have one. He's got one leg. Do you think he might get more cramps in that one?
So, do you think he'll get more legs
You
as
get
we go
you
along?
get twice the cramps and the.
That's interesting because he has to overcompensate, and then there's a weight differential
Sure.
there.
Interesting.
I think we're on the wrong track right now.
I'm gonna get so much hate.
just speculating. We're just speculating.
speculation.
It's all friendly. Were there any runs before we get into it? Were there any runs that kind of jumped out at you as like that you enjoyed the most?
They were all amazing, weren't they?
Yeah, they all were, and I love when we get to hear a little bit of the stories
Sure,
about
absolutely.
the personalities, and their family is there and supportive, and you know that's just part of people putting themselves out there, and so knowing that their personal stories is always so nice to see.
Absolutely.
Yeah, and to see the richness of the background of each, like the contrast, like the guy with alopecia.
Sure.
Yeah, I knew
More
it.
hate emo. We're gonna get more hate.
Alopecia, one leg. You heard about the people, just the depth of the
priest?
backgrounds. The person lost his
Got the
wife to
priest.
cancer. We had the priest.
We had a contestant that was born deaf. I mean, just all sorts of different backgrounds.
yeah, that was neat to see the just this. What do you call it?
A potpourri.
A potpourri.
There you go.
Exactly. It was a potpourri. It's a
potpourri of ninjas.
That's the first time you ever said that word, isn't it?
It is the first time I said
Great.
it, yeah, but it was a ninja potpourri.
So let's talk about the obstacles themselves. We've got the floating steps, which are brand new to the course. Now we've seen steps similar to that on the show where they've all been kind of level. These are floating and going upwards in elevation, so that just adds a whole new element to it.
Why not? Let's make it go
Exactly.
up.
Let's make it even more difficult. They go from the floating steps to an obstacle called Tic Toc, giant floating pendulum.
That's a Friday night for me, folks.
Jeez.
Straight up and down like 6 o'clock.
Yeah, no, I don't quite know what you meant by that.
Oh, please. Mr.
Man.
Potpourri.
Getting punchy.
It is late. They said this were the last show here tonight
This is after dark. AfterBuzz after dark.
with ninjas.
Exactly. From Tic Toc, we've got the escalator, these kind of ascending and descending steps. And I feel like the escalator people either got real tripped up or just flew through them. We saw a ton of people tonight blast through the escalator steps. Yeah.
Blazed through it, as Akbar said.
Yeah, absolutely. Just so much agility. We've got the ring jump, and the ring jump is one of those things like I can't even imagine even just hanging there to begin with.
I think I sucked at that in kindergarten. Right, we did that,
exactly.
right? We had to go on the bars. I never made it. Right?
Exactly. Yeah, you've got these rings and you're hanging from them, and you've got to lift the ring up over these pegs.
It's like a salmon ladder. It's like a combination of the rings and the salmon ladder.
Sure. And not only that, the pegs that you're getting up over, they get increasingly higher.
Insane.
Yeah.
I don't think Arrow could do that.
And there's that final one where there wasn't pegs, so that if they made it over, they slipped towards the very end, and like that would have done it for me, because they think that they're okay, that they've gotten the pattern down,
Sure.
and then all of a sudden they're like jerked into it. And the bigger you are, it plays against you, because that stop in motion makes your fingers.
That was what was doing
lose-
it, wasn't
yeah.
it? When their hands
We
would
saw
go
a
up.
lot of that,
Yeah.
where that impact just dropped people. Yeah.
At least there was water below.
Exactly.
Could have been spikes,
Exactly.
right?
A few of them, yeah. The way that they fall, I react as if it's like a solid surface.
We were like this.
From the ring jump, we've got the I-beam cross, where they've got to support all of their weight on their fingers and toes on these barely present.
It's all about
ledges.
inches. All about inches.
It's a game of inches, guys.
In fact, there was a quote. Matt Eisman, the person said, "Real estate, 1 inch real estate."
1 inch real estate.
There you go. See, there you go.
I don't even know how to come back to that.
Don't either.
And of course, to finish off the course, we've got the warped wall, and not just any warped wall.
And we got a warped co-host.
Oh, we got a warped
Legendary.
It's a taller warped wall than we've ever seen before. 14 and a half feet, I believe it is.
It was huge. It was
Okay,
huge.
but so how do they make these courses up? Like, they must put professionals through this to make sure that somebody could actually get through it.
Sure.
Right? And then do the contestants, do they get a few warm-up tries? Or
I don't-
when
I
they're
think-
on it, it's the first time?
I think it's the first time.
I think so,
That's
yeah.
crazy.
But did they have, correct me if I'm wrong, did they have people that had done it before, like had been on the show before, run it before, to give them some sort of an example of what it would be?
Maybe. I don't know exactly how their R&D works. I'm interested.
R&D.
Yeah.
We could test shit.
Absolutely.
This is NBC. If you want us to test shit for you, bring us on
Oh,
the
yes,
show.
they're going to
we'll
call
test-
us right away.
Yeah, well,
You know.
You know.
I wanted to ask you guys, if given the opportunity, how far you think you'd go on this course.
How far? Yeah,
Because you never know. You never know.
That's right. They could call us up and say, we want you to test out Atlanta or something. And
No, I would do that little dance that the guy did at the beginning, and then I'd just jump right in the water and be like, there, I did it.
Yeah.
I don't know. I hope to God I can make it past the steps.
The floating steps, yeah. Maybe.
Because they looked easy, but I think when people were actually on them, they were a little surprised as to how you had to, like, because there was an
Oh, sure.
incline and all
The
that.
angle that they're at, and yeah, just increasing in elevation as well.
Yeah, for us average mortals, I think it's a
No,
different.
you're legendary, remember?
We're not quite ninjas. We're not quite ninjas.
Legendary mortals.
But you brought up a good point. Is like, is it easier, like, because they obviously get to watch contestants before them.
Right.
So I'd be like, I want to go last because I want to see every mistake that is made. How fair is that, though?
Yeah. Well, I
Right.
guess now do you get more than one try? That's what I don't.
Oh, that's an
know
interesting
yet.
question.
We're gonna have
Well,
to.
it seems like I know on the warped wall, obviously they get 3 shots at
Right.
that.
Yeah.
Everything else, I think, if any part of your body touches the water, you're out.
So you got to be top 30 to pass on. That was the thing. So
Right.
we're gonna learn more about the show as we go. We're just having fun like you.
Absolutely. It's fun stuff. Yeah, so we start things out with Brennan Mejia representing the IE, where I'm from, Inland Empire, baby, from Redlands. He's the Red Ranger on Power Rangers.
And he's out there.
And he's, I
Like,
mean,
whoa.
it's a great note to begin the season on.
With a Power Ranger.
Exactly.
Yeah, that's cool.
exactly.
The Red Power Ranger.
And yeah, it looked like he had a little bit of a delay going kind of from the rope separating the floating steps and Tic Toc. He got so close, ended up falling at 121.
He missed it. Yeah, the legs were too low, I think.
Exactly.
And he almost pulled it back. He wrapped his legs
When
up.
it looked
and
like
we're-
he might have saved it on
Yeah.
on the Tic Toc, on the pendulum. Yeah,
that
definitely.
was cool. We thought he was going to make it, and you said, I mean, you got it. That's when you got into it. You were like,
Yeah, because I'm
he's
like-
doing it the right way.
Yeah, but you expect a Power Ranger's gonna go far. But like again, we're always surprised as to who makes it and who doesn't.
Right.
Like there's a few skinny guys up there. I'm like, their arms are not gonna support them, and they just flew through it like
Absolutely.
nobody's business.
Absolutely, yeah. I always love. We got a couple of them tonight when people are just barely hanging on to that pendulum. Akbar, Gbaja-Biamila.
You said it right.
Boom.
Yes.
Man,
Boom.
good for
Mic
you.
drop.
Had to practice it.
Yeah, no kidding.
He gets so into it. He gets so into it. Like that's because they're just barely hanging on.
I had to laugh because I mean, just all the the cheesy analogies. And I say that with love, guys.
The Duran Duran jokes.
Yeah.
That one was, it was like, wah, wah.
He's an
Absolutely.
engineer, but he's not going to engineer his way out of this.
But they have to fill that space. Because
I know,
how
I think
awkward it would
it's
be to have
great.
two guys watching you sweat
Right.
in silence. Awkward.
Awkward Akbar.
Yeah.
Hashtag awkward Akbar.
Get it trending, guys. Get it trending.
No, what else was there? There was, she's a pole vaulter, and we want to watch her vault her way through this. Faster
Yes.
than, I loved it. I loved it.
We gotta nail some
I'm a
words.
fan. I'm with you.
Absolutely. I mean, we see, you know, after that, we saw Tori Garcia, naval officer. I love, it's like you said, I love getting the stories behind him. We saw Big Vic, we saw Little Vic cheering her on. But just like we said, on those rings, it's just that instant drop.
Like, what's it like to be married or dating these contestants? Like the naval, because she's a mom and a wife or
And
whatever.
her
It's
husband's
like,
a Marine.
like who
I'm
takes out the trash in that relationship? Like, right? You're gonna tell an
The
American
kids.
Ninja, no.
Sure.
Yeah, I don't know, like, because don't the ninjas have to report to, like, the Shogun or something like that? So, like, who reports to the ninjas?
Sure.
But how do you be in the Navy and marry, was it Air Force?
A Marine.
Yeah, and she marries somebody in a different branch of the military. That's just gotta be, whoa.
That's
That's a fun Thanksgiving.
I've been hosting, on Thursdays I host American Grit, and it's all different branches of the military competing against each
Oh,
other.
wow.
So it's you definitely get that butting of heads.
Yeah. No,
So
I was
it's got to
just
be an
like,
interesting dynamic.
how's that match? How's that, like, schedules and everything?
Right,
It's like,
exactly.
What I love is that even when people don't succeed, they always come out of it smiling and like, rah, rah, rah. I'd be like, if I lost, I'd be throwing stuff, I'd be ripping things, I'd be punching people. Like, I would not be this happy-go-lucky.
Right. It
Right?
depends. It would depend on your landing. We saw a couple landings tonight that
Oh,
were
I'd be a belly
nasty
flopper.
landings, exactly. See, it would be more akin to like Wipeout. See, remember Wipeout?
Love Wipeout.
Wipeout was kind of like this, but it was designed for people to fail.
But you gotta be like the gymnast. Who was the gymnast that landed on one leg after she broke it? That was Carrie Shrug or something
Yeah,
like that?
yeah,
let's
yeah.
see. You gotta be like that. Have a good
Right.
attitude.
You gotta
Keep your spirit up.
Push through it. Let's talk about the Scout Ninja. Let's talk about
can we please?
Jackson Meyer, the Scout Ninja.
I got a few notes for that
love
one.
this guy.
I watched his face when we did this. When the Scout Ninja came on, he looks at me, and then it pans over to his girlfriend. They says, "Here's his girlfriend," and he looks at me, and he's like,
What?
Girlfriend?"
That happened a few times today. They're like, hey girl, I'm American Ninja and I'm gonna beat this up. And then here's my girlfriend. And I'm like, wait, what happened? Like, girl, I got a few things to tell you about your boyfriend. And that Scout one was about, I'm like, I know what you got your patches for, sir.
Oh, man. Well,
And I'm like, "Really?" I'm like, he's like,
No, literally, my eyes were like, girlfriend, what?
was that the producer?
oh man.
And he's still a virgin.
well. Let's talk about the Scout Ninja's performance.
Okay.
Oh, okay.
I love.
I thought we were talking about outfits
You'd
all day.
have to be in the troop. Oh no, sorry.
He's like, it's not 2 fingers, it's 3 fingers. I'm like, what are you referring to, sir?
Well, and I love when he's teaching Christine how to do it afterwards. She's not doing the Scout, she's doing the shocker.
Yeah, and either he doesn't
Of all
care
things.
about this totally hot girl next to him, or he's got really good game in a scouty way.
But
He's
I
like,
love.
my grandmother does it better.
I did love this guy.
That's an awkward.
I love this guy's performance. I love his pop locking before it starts.
There you go.
He's a bigger guy. He's a big one of the bigger ninjas at 5'11", 180. But I mean, just kind of flying through it. We saw a lot of parkour in his kind of training montage.
We see that a lot, huh? Parkour was everywhere.
Absolutely, definitely.
The Scout Ninja, he made being a nerd look cool. Like, I think he's a superhero to nerds across America
Sure.
that are like a little awkward, maybe a little chunky here and there, maybe in the closet still. I mean, he's a hero.
See, that's nice that you had to throw in something nice. I think it's good.
Man.
Yes.
Yeah.
No, but his spirit was fun. Like, you love when you see the nerdy guy do it. Like,
It was
you just
super
love
fun.
it.
It's super fun to watch. He fell on the pendulum on Tic Toc, but I love the dismount. I love the backflip. He knows he's going.
That's true. He at
Yes.
least bowed out
might
in
as well
grace.
go out in
Yeah.
style, right? Let's talk about.
Speaking of style,
Let's talk about our horsemen. Let's talk about our horsemen,
was
guys.
great.
Let's talk about Chad Sorrells, our
I
horseman
can't
from
with this
Norco.
one.
I knew that was coming.
Can I enter? We were watching this, and it says, okay, he's a horseman from, and he kind of looked over and then he pet the horse.
pet the horse
The horse rolls
strangely.
over, legs in the air. We're thinking Harry Potter.
No, I was
you know,
thinking Equus.
Equus, yeah.
Yeah.
Equus. And then
Right.
that's what we thought. And then we were surprised that he didn't last as long as
Man,
we
I
thought.
love
Yeah,
all
I
of
was
that
really
build up.
surprised.
So much build up. We get basically this guy gets a whole character. Like he's like all these girls are swooning over him. And
he
he's
was like 6'4" or
He's like this
something,
horse
and
whisperer.
stud.
Yeah, he's from.
I think he was doing more than whispering to that horse.
I mean, we've got like the cheesy music playing during the
I
video
love when the
package.
piano kicks in, you know something's up.
Man, they're just hitting it hard, and then instantly on the floating steps, Dunzo.
I know.
But it seems like the bigger swag they have, the less far that they get and the less successful.
I don't know.
Well,
Remember-
I think a show like American Ninja Warrior really wants to prove that it's the underdogs that'll really go, get over that warped wall. And so I think when they have a ton of backstory, but it's like not necessarily a ton of backstory, but like a lot of kind of gimmicky backstory.
Yeah.
Right.
Where it's like, oh, this guy has a whole character. Like,
Yeah, let's put the guy. Okay, we're gonna put the one-legged guy in. We're gonna put the guy with the. And I know they'd cast it like that, but it's gripping. I don't mean to demean anybody
No,
because
sure.
these guys are
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
amazing
Sure.
athletes.
But how do they pick what stories to highlight and follow? Because then you see like, oh, so and so went through it, and then it's like, well, why didn't they get a story?
A
Like,
lot
how
of
do they pick that?
a lot of the finishes, happen during commercial
Yeah.
breaks. Like, oh yeah, this guy finished and this guy finished. This guy wearing a tutu, he finished.
Yeah, there's a tutu
I
player
wanted to
in
learn
there.
about
That's a
that
pretty
guy.
good story. Put the tutu guy on.
It's like West Hollywood on a Friday.
Yeah, what's new?
Let's talk about the idea of kind of ninja teams. Sort of, we saw a couple ninja teams. We saw Tiana Weberly, Sweet Tea, as she's called. She moonlights as a waitress at Outback Steakhouse.
She's awesome.
But
I was
wanted
so
to see her
motivated by
win.
that onion blossom. I was like, I'm not motivated to like work out after watching the show. I was like, that onion blossom looked really good, you guys.
I miss the onion blossom.
She was like this. I'm like, yes.
I'll run there. I mean, I'll run
Okay, so there's a
Outback.
pretty girl, and all you see is the food.
Wow, that's the story of my. That's the title of my biography.
That's hilarious.
No, but she did fantastic.
She
and I
did.
was
She
rooting
did.
for
She
her.
did great. She was the fifth woman up the warped wall,
Yep.
as we find out. She's teammates, or she's coached by Flip Rodriguez, who we'll see later on.
Who teaches for Tempest,
Yes.
which is the parkour place. I went over there.
Up
I went
in
and checked
Chatsworth,
out-
right?
They've got one in Chatsworth. They have one right here in. I'm not in Hermosa Beach right now, but they have one right next
Do
to
you
me.
know
when I
where you
am.
are right now? Oh, but that girl's grandma, her grandma was hot. Did you see her? Like, I can even say that. I was like, that's your grandma?
Well, we saw later on. I think it was the stunt woman who trains with her mom.
That was cute. That was really
awesome.
cute.
That was
Yes.
super awesome.
Because there was a connection there, and this show is supposed to motivate you to conquer your life. However, whether it's fitness, whether it's being good at your career, reestablishing a relationship with your parents, and
Sure.
I thought that story was really nice.
Absolutely, yeah. So we see Tiana. She's a pole vaulter. She's 5'3", which they talk about maybe the reach kind of presenting a challenge, especially on the rings.
We saw.
she gets
yeah.
through it.
She worked it, but you saw in the beginning. If she kept going the way she was going, it would have worn on her.
Right,
Yeah.
exactly. And then she becomes the first female to tackle the I-beam.
I thought it was
And
awesome.
she gets so close.
She should have
so
had
close.
It. She should have had it.
Now, do you guys think that there should be a different course for men and women?
No, I don't think so.
No?
I think especially after kind of how viral Casey Catanzaro went and how many eyeballs that attracted. I think it showed they can get just as far.
Wow, the depth to your knowledge.
Okay, it's a little bit.
I was making a
research.
small comment. You turned it into like a lecture series.
A little bit of research. Got to get deep into the analysis. And I think that makes it even more impressive because her especially very kind of short in stature, and so to get over something like the warped wall is just that much more impressive.
Absolutely, yeah.
Speaking of height, during the break, we get the tallest of the ninja. We get a 6'2" attorney. Wow.
What is his Twitter?
That was a female. That was Kate Ives.
Never
6'2". She
So she doesn't have a Twitter.
sadly, I think her height might have worked against her. She ends up tumbling down on the floating steps. We've got an aerospace engineer. I mean, just shows you all sorts of people. Ends up eating it on the I-beam. The I-beam really
That
did
is
a lot
tough.
of people in.
I just can't even imagine. Like it looks impossible.
Right.
It really does. And the girl's name Tiana, was that
Yeah,
what it was?
yeah.
What I loved is at one point when she was doing it, she kind of stopped and turned around and looked. And it was if they get that picture, that shot, that was a very Wonder Woman shot.
Sure.
Looked like it was right out of a Zack Snyder movie.
Yeah.
Exactly.
You know,
we
it's
got
like,
we got a lot of great moments. I love when people stop and completely reverse direction, going the other
yes.
way. Yeah.
See, but like, because some people flipped it and some people didn't. Like,
Right.
how did they know what the best thing would be, and what was the best way to do that? Is there a right or wrong to these courses?
Well, there was some. It looked like those that did that flipped it had an easier time going to me. Yeah.
And I
Yeah,
think,
it seemed like
Yeah,
it.
it seemed like it.
like I know you should
How
take
I
your
do it
time.
anyway.
Of course.
And like I know you should take you should speed up because it's about speed, but I think really taking your time and calculating and thinking about this logically, I think that that's winning as well. The people that took their time on the beam were successful because they were actually thinking logically about how their body could fit in this scenario.
Exactly. Yeah. If you take your time, like they said, the only way to guarantee a spot, you know, in the semifinals would be to hit that buzzer. So if you take your time, you don't rush through it. You know, that's I think the best way. Let's talk about Steve Seaver. Let's talk about this comeback story because I love this story.
42-year-old, right?
He's 36.
Oh, 36.
But that story I know exactly what you're talking
okay,
about. We'll get to that
military,
one. This guy, he was a military veteran. He comes home. His wife has left, taken his kids.
I mean, it's
Oh
not
my
just
God.
Heartbreaking.
it is. It's like, oh, but where is she now? Well, she's like, oh crap, he's American Ninja.
This guy's
Ninja,
killing it.
yeah.
Yes.
And I love, you know, I mean, the guy looks amazing. He's quit drinking. He's doing it for his kids.
Yeah,
And
that was a great story.
Absolutely.
He got sober for his kids. He
And I never
hit rock
condone
bottom.
sobriety. I never do. But this was touching.
It works, you know. It works for some people. I love his landing on Tic Toc especially was absolutely one of the most beautiful moments.
Yeah.
Like just completely graceful.
He had a certain energy, even like the way that he looked and his focus. He definitely stood out, and such a remarkable energy. And to be able to show your kids that, like, this is how crappy life got, and this is what you're able to do. I mean, that's the best. That's the best thing that you could.
Sure.
Yeah, but what a great story. Yeah, he's like, I hit rock bottom, and here's the type of thing that you can do when you hit that. He's got the red mohawk. He's just
And his
shredded.
pants. I loved his pants, by the way.
Pants, did you? I didn't notice.
They were camouflage.
Yeah.
Nothing was hiding there. I'll tell you that.
No, I think he looked like he stepped right out of the movie 300. Like he looked like he
Yeah.
painted his abs
Yeah.
on
Right,
and
exactly,
put
yeah.
some shadowing
And
in.
it's interesting when you get guys with that sort of strength on the rings. He was really, they were commenting on it. He was doing it like sort of like violently and
Yeah.
aggressively.
Oh yeah, he looked like
which could really work against you on that sort of an
mommy
obstacle.
issues. Yeah, I was like,
Yeah, you got to really. I mean, like that one, you've got to use that strength, but you've also got to kind of be easy with it so
Yeah.
that you don't yank yourself right off.
if the guy from Bates Motel ever flips his lid, we got a backup.
Oh man, what else? Let's talk about the Eskimo Ninja. We've got all sorts of different types of ninjas.
He was so cool,
We've got
though.
the Island
He
Ninja,
was.
Papal Ninja, the Eskimo Ninja. I love this guy. Comes from a village of 700 people. Unalakleet, I think, is the name of the village.
And they kept saying he comes from his village, and and
you can't even drive there.
You can't even drive
Right
there.
there, you have to get there by either plane or boat.
And then it showed his wife. I was like, oh, that's a woman. Okay, sure.
No, she wasn't. There was another guy that you thought for sure. Oh, it was the guy with the piercing blue eyes and the island guy.
Oh, I
it
love
was
that
the
guy.
Hawaiian guy.
The
Yeah.
Island Ninja, yeah. Love it.
He was a little iffy on the which side of the coin he was on.
The Eskimo guy, because there's so many men in Alaska, and there's like 2 women.
Oh, so you take what
a
you can
village of
get.
700. She was probably one of 2 women in the 700 village.
And you have to chase them down, and you have to go through.
And you can't drive them
trials.
anywhere.
Yeah, and you can't fall in ice holes and stuff like that.
Where
what
is
did you
this
say?
show going?
Ice holes. I thought I heard something else.
It's talk about his performance on the course.
But he also had a great energy too. Like,
Oh, sure.
he was so personable. Like, you felt like you could go hang out with him and like salmon fish on the ice.
Oh, sure. Well, I mean, they talk about it. You know, Akbar talks about how every single state is represented in American Ninja Warrior. So of course he's repping for Alaska, and I love that after his first appearance on the show, he's getting taken from school to school. He's a motivational speaker. I love that. I absolutely love that because they're seeing that someone like me can do something like this.
I thought that was very cool. He's one of the cooler people. He's got this.
Yeah. And I love that showed him practicing on the ice steps. I'm like, I do that with my laundry in the morning, and he's like doing it like in nature.
That's like Rocky IV, right?
Yes,
you have to go over and
totally.
train. Rocky's running up the mountain when everybody else is in training in cool gyms.
Absolutely. And I love that moment. He makes it over the warped wall on his very first try. I love that moment when people just fly right up
Yes.
it.
Oh man! And,
Right
and
up the
it's
wall.
like what makes what allows the person to get up versus the person that doesn't? Because with those that get up, it looks like it's so easy.
Exactly. Well, yeah, and the people that make it, it looks like they make it by such a large margin.
Yeah. I think they're bitching and moaning. I bet you we could do that.
I can't even get in my car sometimes.
So yeah, love this guy. Makes it through in a 4:43. Just like I said, on his very first try, he's got the support of a whole village behind him. Love it.
That was great.
Absolutely love it.
That was what was neatest about this was the support and seeing the fans that were in there for them. They each brought 20, 30 people with them.
Exactly.
Yeah, that was neat.
We've got Nolan Gardner. This, he works with kids on the autism spectrum, but not only that, he himself was born deaf. And I love that the way he describes it. Once he got his cochlear implant, that it was like turning the lights on. Yeah. He could hear everything. And but what I thought was even more fascinating is the fact that he was a water polo player, but they hadn't invented waterproof implants yet, so he still had to lip read his coach's directions.
Oh my God, I missed that part. I didn't hear it, but
oh my God,
no, I really didn't. I just had to get out.
Sure.
But he was a swimmer. He's a diver. What we noticed also these piercing blue eyes. I'm like, oh my God, I've never seen. And then, but then I think it was a camera thing because a lot of them had that. But he had the most beautiful big blue eyes. Yeah.
Absolutely, yeah.
I'm very straight, but yeah, but
you can appreciate. You can appreciate some good blue eyes.
Awesome. I liked him.
Yeah,
cool
I love on the ring jumps.
he.
He's jumping several pegs at a time.
Oh yeah,
and
he was in it to win it.
You're right. It's scary to see that because like the higher they get, the harder they're gonna come down.
Oh, I know.
and sadly, that's what ends up happening. He lands kind of bad, ends up losing on the rings. But just another one of the great stories.
Was awesome.
Let's talk about Natalie Duran. She's such an insane personality.
Duran.
Yeah. Exactly.
Hungry like the wolf.
She's not only a YouTuber, but she's a professional rock climber. She's a party crasher. I love that image of her just like climbing the girders at the Golden Globe. I think it was the Golden Globe.
Oh yes, she's exercising everywhere she goes. Here, I'll hang on this.
I love this. What a big personality. Like that's what shows like this are made of.
That was great. It was great. She definitely had a backstory and a gritty backstory.
Exactly, and not just a larger than life personality, but she's kind of one of the better performers of the night.
She did really well. She's built.
Yeah, she's got the Island Ninja cheering her on. Grant, they're teammates. Another very smooth landing on Tic Toc. She gets right up to the wall, ends up after 3 tries, can't quite do it, but she makes it into the top 30.
And she was playing for the camera too. I mean, she's an entertainer. She knew exactly what faces to make, where to look, and so
exactly. All smiles the whole time.
She's the one with 100,000 YouTube followers, right?
Yeah.
So she's got a built-in audience. That's she's.
And of course, Akbar. We've got Duran. She's hungry like the wolf.
Wolf.
All sorts of A+ 5-star jokes.
The writer was like, "Yay!"
I don't think that's the writer. I think that's all Akbar. He's all over it.
Exactly. But speaking of the Island Ninja, let's get to him. And this guy has so much energy.
Oh God!
I mean, this guy's doing the nene. He's all over the place. He's a flight attendant from Honolulu. Another real tall competitor, 6'2". He's at 190. That's got to make it difficult to get through some of these obstacles.
Does he? When Akbar was saying, I think it was him who said, "A tall drink of water, a tall drink of water." And we just kind of looked at each other.
Yeah.
We're trying to figure this out. I don't think it's just us. There's something going on.
So
What I liked about him, though, is, he seemed like he had swag and he had personality. He was playing to the camera.
Oh, sure.
But he was so sincere about it. Like,
Right.
that's who he really is. Hanging out with him, he's such a positive attitude that came through the screen.
Right.
And it was nice to see that his swag was sincere.
Exactly, yeah.
Did you want to give your Twitter?
We find out
He's in the airline business. No.
he had recently gotten to India, gotten very, very sick, and had put his entire involvement with the show in jeopardy.
He was saying, "Why wouldn't you go to India afterwards?"
Yeah, it's like,
But the moment that I love is when he's on the I-beam and he uses his chin to kind of take some of the pressure off of his fingers. Like, it's such a great moment.
Because it speaks so loudly. It's like,
whose chin is that? Is it Jay Leno? Like, what is going on?
But yeah, it's such an efficient use of, once again, that one's real estate.
Use every part of your body, people.
Exactly.
anything you can wrap.
Yep. 1 inch real estate.
But once again, very first try on the warped wall, makes it, finishes the course in 4:23, finishes with a dab to hit the buzzer.
With a dab.
Just going out in style. I absolutely love it. And just, the interview with him afterwards it's like you said,
Genuine.
it's so genuine, and he's just has such a great time, and his parents are thrilled. It was great to see.
Very cool.
What else do we got? Let's talk about our papal ninja. Papal.
I got a whole page
Did
on
you
that
want to
one.
start? Yeah, he wrote like 2 pages. I'm like, what's wrong there? He's like,
Number one, what parish is he at? I'm a Catholic again. I'm back, Jesus.
He decided, he at one point thought he wanted to be a priest, a Catholic priest, decided it wasn't for him, but still lives with the priest as their IT guy.
Anybody else think that was a little creepy? The old guy's like, he still lives here with us. He takes the donations. Wink, wink.
Oh my god.
okay.
It's such a weird scenario that they've got. He's living with this brotherhood priest. He's their IT guy. He's also converted their garage into a gym without telling anybody.
And he makes a mean apple pie.
It's a
I missed
sitcom
all
that writes
I
itself.
don't know how I missed that. Where'd I go?
Where did you go?
But I have no
You
idea.
blacked it all out.
But I was a ninja.
It's a sitcom that writes itself. But I love at the end of his training montage that he even hits the Christ pose on the
Yes, it was
rings.
like, okay.
I'm like, all right.
There's a calendar in there somewhere. Help the Catholics out. Hot priest of America.
But this dude blazes through the course.
Blaze through
I mean,
it.
just absolutely flies through it. First try
Hold
up
on,
the
there has to
up
be
the
a
warp
papal
wall.
analogy for how he got through the course.
They tried too. They
they-
were throwing him out there left and
Yeah,
right.
yeah,
tried.
yeah. He crossed his way through the
Holy Spirit was at his feet.
Boy, he nailed it. Oh, sorry.
Oh my God, that
Sorry.
was too far. That's worse than an Alopecia joke. Like, that is even worse than an Alopecia joke.
Okay, all right.
No, what did I sign up
All
for?
right.
It finishes the course in 2 minutes 30 seconds, the fastest time to date of the night so far. What else do we got? We've got Mike Burke, our safari park manager. I love that image of just the giraffe reaching into his window.
Oh, that was kind of...
But it was a really sad story, and I'm like, haven't we shed enough tears about the zoos?
I know. I couldn't help but think of the gorilla that just got shot.
Oh,
yeah.
Yeah.
Man.
It was like, sorry. Ooh, sorry to bring that up.
But, he's a safari park manager, but this is the guy you were talking about. He's a rookie at 42 years old. We find out he lost his wife to breast cancer, so the way he describes it is so heartbreaking. Describes it as, kind of like an 18-wheeler coming at your family. You can do nothing to
stop it.
help it, to stop it. And so the image of his kids watching him and him getting through this, and he's, like I said, he's a rookie at 42. Yeah. He's not flying through it. He
was very methodical,
very
in the
cautious, very
steps
methodical, and it's just it's like Matt Eisman said, it's not always about getting up the wall and hitting the buzzer. It's about just going out there and just doing as much as you can.
It's like rooting for Rocky in his last movie.
Exactly. Yeah.
You know
last
he's
face.
not going to win the fight, or his last face.
Yes.
Sure. But we get another stylish dismount. We get another backflip right off that pendulum. And it's just all smiles.
Yeah.
I absolutely love this guy.
That was awesome.
Yeah.
I feel like if I were there giving out awards, like you guys would be giving, the top time and top whatever, and I'd be like, congeniality award and dismount style. Like those are the awards I'd be giving out.
I think you should be there giving out awards.
Style
You'd be
points
like,
count just as much, yeah.
Swag award.
You can be right next to Christine.
Exactly.
Thanks.
During the break, we find out that Chris Cluey, former punter for the NFL,
Oh, was he?
participated in the course, made it up to the rings. Spent 8 years in the NFL. Now he's on Ninja Warrior.
There you go.
Why not?
Got to go someplace.
We get a time that beats our Papal Ninja's time during the break. We get 2 minutes 24 seconds. Wow. Just keeps getting faster and faster. Chris Workman setting the record so far.
So far.
Just so much. But now we get up to Flip Rodriguez.
Flip rocked it.
Love this guy.
Yeah.
I love that he used to wear these masks and like.
Why did he?
I don't know. No idea.
I mean, don't cover that face. You know, let's see what's happening.
Yeah.
He looks like, he reminds me of a young Keanu Reeves.
Okay.
You know,
okay.
kind of a young Matrix type.
But with brains, yeah.
Yes, exactly.
Sure. Yeah, you know, it's we talked a little bit about it earlier. He coaches at the Tempest Academy. His little tadpoles.
Oh,
I
were
love
so
that.
That was
They were.
amazing.
The tadpoles are, you can, I mean, when he had fallen off before in the previous episode, they're like, you can do it, that's okay, you can come back from this. It's like, somebody's teaching those kids well.
Sure, exactly, yeah.
I was like, how old do you have to be in with class? Like, I want to take it tomorrow.
You can be
I'm
a
a tadpole
tadpole.
too.
But yeah, he's got Tiana Weberly cheering him on from the sidelines. He's one of those people on the I-beams that completely reverses direction.
Totally.
And ends up, once again, breaking the record at 2 minutes, 23 seconds.
He coasted through there.
He owned it. He
Yeah.
was just like, it's that parkour training that's unbeatable. That's
Sure.
cool stuff.
Absolutely. It's so interesting
Have
to
you been
watch.
there? Have you?
No, huh?
I went into Tempest and I just watched them from up above, and it was just amazing to see the flips that they do and how it's really, really neat.
Sure. During the break, we see our Tutu Ninja. We see Ted Young finish the course. Would have loved to see the story behind that. I mean, we see a guy that's broken his leg on the course in the past.
Oh.
Can you imagine being there live watching that?
Oh, God.
Oh, no.
And not only has he broken his leg on the course, he came back and finished the course.
That's fantastic.
I mean, obviously
That's
not
spirit.
that night, but that later. Impressive nonetheless.
That would have been tough.
Impressive
That
nonetheless.
would have been tough.
Exactly.
I want to see a nun with one leg. Like that's what I want to see coming up. That's a story I want
The
to hear.
stories that we're getting, yeah, you never know. Next up, we've got Jessie Graff, our stunt woman. She does stunts on Supergirl, but she's decked
Was it
out-
Jessie or Steffi?
Right.
I think it was Steffi, wasn't
No,
it?
Steffi Graff's a different.
yeah,
okay,
okay.
That's a different sport.
Oh.
Even I know that.
That's a tennis player. Steffi Graff, I believe, is a tennis player. I could be
Okay.
wrong.
Yes.
But I love it. We talked about her training with her mom,
Yes.
and like
So
that
cute.
adorable montage. Yeah.
And her body was rock solid. Like
Absolutely.
there was nothing moving on that body. It was marble.
Is she like the double for Supergirl?
I
with
think
it?
so.
Yeah, that would
I
make
think so,
sense.
yeah.
But dressed as Wonder Woman.
Exactly, exactly. I love one thing that I noticed during this. I love how at the beginning of the floating steps, she's like scanning them. Like it reminded me of like the Terminator. She's like just looking at them, and you can see the
X-ray
gears
vision.
turning.
When she started, she wasn't the one that was doing funny dances or making funny faces. She clicked in and she was in it to just go through the course. Like there was nothing else going on in her mind at that point.
Exactly, yeah. And I mean, yeah, she just flies through this just like, I mean, looking at her, you knew she would be amazing at this. Flies up the warped wall on the very first try. She's the first woman to complete this new warped wall.
It looked effortless.
Absolutely.
Totally.
Just, yeah, like it was nothing. Finishes in 4 minutes, 27 seconds to advance to the semifinals. And just, yeah, absolutely love this performance.
Yeah, she was fantastic, and she looks strong too. So
Sure.
she's not like Tatiana. It was a Tatiana.
Yeah.
She was smaller, much smaller boned. So this was bigger bone, but she was strong. She held it.
Absolutely. Let's get into Kevin Bull, our final ninja of the night.
Prometheus.
Prometheus. That's
Prometheus.
I like
He
that.
was so Prometheus.
He brought
This
the
guy-
fire to the people. That's what Prometheus did.
Yeah, exactly. We see him working with the Children's Alopecia Project, and I mean, he's just physically, this guy is an absolute beast.
Specimen.
I mean, just so aggressive right out of the gates. It's fitting that his last name is Bull, because just charging straight out of the gates.
Now you sound like
And
Akbar. The bull
Exactly.
is charging.
And he was wearing
Exactly.
dress pants, by the way. You guys obviously didn't know
We
this.
missed that.
He was
Yeah.
wearing slacks. I'm like, oh, I'm sorry, are we bothering you at the office? You want to
That's
win this?
Phenomenal.
He was wearing slacks.
I love that. Yeah, we find out he was a track and field decathlete champ.
Wow.
And I mean, the way that he absolutely blazed through this course, not just faster than anyone else of the night, but like by leaps and bounds.
Absolutely.
When he gets to the ring jumps, just is leaping over huge amounts of pegs all at once. Ends up finishing the course in 2 minutes and 2 seconds.
The bull charge.
I mean, I love that they're like, oh, can he beat Flip's record? Can he beat? And we've got Flip. He's wearing his
Did you
beats.
see him?
Yeah,
He's like,
Flip is
He's
watching.
very
yeah.
focused. He's very focused. And Kevin just obliterates his record. 2 minutes, 2 seconds.
You know what's interesting about them is they seem to have an appreciation for the other athletes.
Yes,
so
I
too.
totally
Exactly.
see that.
Exactly.
You don't get the sense that they want to, take their legs out with a baseball bat.
Right,
you know?
exactly. It's like
They're
this.
supporting each other.
It's like this elite club. Like if you can finish a course like this and you meet someone else that can do it,
It's impressive.
It's like
Yeah.
it's got to
the
be
cool
like a
kids
brotherhood.
club.
Yeah, exactly.
You appreciate the artistry.
And my hashtag from today was his student or one of the kids that he works with. She was a work dad.
I love that.
Like, where's that T-shirt? I want to wear that right now.
Her name's McKenna, and she's incredible.
And what-
Work
hashtag
She's
dab.
the absolute best.
work dab?
Yeah, because
Work-
like work dab.
and then dab.
How come I don't know what dab
You
means?
got to do the dab.
What does dab mean?
Dabbing is, that's the dab. That's
Okay.
Grant, our island ninja. That's how he finished the course. He dabbed it up, hit that buzzer.
Got it? Learning new
Went out
things
in
every day.
style.
Dab.
Speaking of going out in style, we don't got too much time left, so let's get into some predictions.
Okay.
Oh,
Look at
my
that!
Prediction music.
Look at
Is this your
that!
first time?
yes. Be gentle.
Now, I as much as I love the theremin and the lights, I don't know how to go about predicting a show like this.
Well, who's going to win or who's going to take it
I
so
mean,
far that we've seen?
You gotta think Kevin Bull is gonna go very, very
was
far.
amazing, yeah.
For him to be able to finish this course in just over 2 minutes.
Right.
I mean, it'll be interesting to see if he makes it all the way to Mount Midoriyama.
He destroyed everybody else. I mean, like, the flip only came, 20 seconds?
It was a
took him-
21-second margin that he beat it by.
I think as the show goes on, we can only see the same course so many times before we start to look elsewhere.
Sure.
So I really think that they're going to stress some of the stories that we didn't hear tonight. We're
Okay.
going to start hearing throughout the season. We're going to learn more and more as an audience are really going to start to root for the personalities.
Sure.
Just as much as their fitness.
But I'm looking forward to that. The stories become fuller.
Exactly,
And you get to learn
yeah.
more about them.
Well, and we saw, with Jessie Graff and with Natalie Duran both advancing, this is the very first time 2 women have advanced to the semifinals.
Well,
so if a rivalry starts brewing there, it'll be a great story to see.
absolutely will.
And one thing I'm going to check out, they advertise, they do like a little segment called Before 24, and it's them. So I'm going to go online and check that out, where they follow the athletes 24 hours before they compete. I am really interested in that.
Okay, who
definitely.
interests you most?
Oh, well. Depends for what reason.
I think the Island Ninja Grant, he's got such an infectious energy.
Yes.
I can't wait to see him next.
He's a stud.
Yeah. But I mean, we've got all sorts of characters.
I'm interested in the parkour people. I love
Exactly.
the Tempest Academy, yeah.
You got to think, it's such a perfect
Match.
training for a course like this. Yeah.
Well, I
free
read
running.
the definition of parkour was it was a way to make it through obstacles, and it's supposed to be a metaphor for life.
Oh, perfect.
Yeah, where you take it and you roll with it
Love
and you keep
that.
moving. Yeah, it's kind of
Love
neat.
that.
it
Yeah.
is.
But I mean, we've got so much to talk about over the course of this season. This was a blast talking about episode 1. We'll be back next week, same time, same channel, talking about they're in ATL. We've got Drew Greshel coming up. We've got JJ Woods, all sorts of characters, obstacles, what have you, things like that. But thank you so much for joining us for this very first episode. Guys, remind them who we are, where they can find you.
Alexander Rodriguez, find me on Twitter and Instagram at On The Rocks On Air and OnTheRocksRadioShow.com.
He's the purple ninja.
There you go.
I'm Chris Howard. You can reach me at Chris Howard Live on Twitter and Instagram. You can also reach me at legendarylivingdaily.com and legendarylivingtv.com for YouTube.
There you go. And as always, y'all can find me on Twitter, on Instagram, at Ty Matthews PMA, as well as various other after shows, Monday Night Raw, Houdini and Doyle, Lucha Underground, American Grit, all sorts of stuff. You can also check me out on Championship Wrestling from Hollywood, Saturdays at 4 p.m. Check those local listings, KDOC, U2 America, Fight TV app, all sorts of stuff. If you're listening to us on iTunes, remember to download, comment, review, subscribe, rate 5 stars if you're nasty. If you're on YouTube, leave us a thumbs up, comment. We want to hear from you. Find us on on Twitter. Find us on Instagram. Let's talk about American Ninja Warrior.
There you go.
And so,
Love it.
guys, join us next week. They'll be in ATL. We'll be right here. We hope you'll be here too, listening to us. So come join us and talk about season 2. But until then, peace.
From executive producers Maria Menounos, Kevin Undergaro, Phil Svitek, and the entire AfterBuzz TV staff, we would like to thank you for listening to the AfterBuzz TV network. To watch or listen to other after shows and post comments or questions, be sure to visit AfterBuzzTV.com. I'm Sir Richard Wentworth, and this has been a presentation of AfterBuzz TV.
Buzz you later.
The views expressed herein are those of the hosts only and do not necessarily reflect the views of AfterBuzz TV or its owners or principals.